All right, guys. Been waiting a long time for this. They finally dropped all 8 episodes of the new Reacher series on Amazon Prime, and I have just finished the first episode. And I don't know how detailed this is going to get, but I wanted to talk about each episode individually. So, what better time to start than now? They released at 8 p.m. on the 4th. I thought it wasn't coming out till, or on the 3rd. I thought it wasn't coming out until the 4th at midnight. So awesome. But first impression, Alan Ritchson is Jack Reacher, 100%. I could not be more thrilled with his portrayal of Reacher. Like the fact that he didn't talk for the first few minutes, it just like embodied Reacher said nothing. He's how I imagined him. Even with the fact that like he has a lighter colored hair, like how Reacher's supposed to. He's supposed to have blonde hair. I always picture him with a little bit darker hair for some reason. Um, and he has like a darker. It is light. Alan Richardson has light, sandy hair, but it looks a little darker, and I like it. I like it, man. He is nailing the character of Reacher. I couldn't have. I actually thought from the trailer that maybe it would be a little too slapsticky, not slapsticky, but funny. I thought it'd be maybe playing a little bit too much for laughs, and I was a little worried about that. Um, but no, no. I mean, he does such a fantastic job. I'm already thrilled about that. That was the biggest thing I was worried about is like how will Alan Richardson do as Reacher? He's got the size, he's huge, hulking man, but can he pull off the character? And I think he has, man. From what I hear, he's read all the books, um, and he loves the character. So it makes sense that he would be able to portray him, like when you actually know him. Um, what else? Willa Fitzgerald as Roscoe, doing an amazing job. I love that she's she's like a tough girl, right? She's like she takes no shit, and I love that. I love it. Even Reacher kind of like bows to Willa Fitzgerald, and it's like it's almost cute. She's like, hey, listen to me over here, and he follows suit. Um, let's see. We haven't met a lot of characters yet. It's just episode one, but I love what they're doing with the flashbacks. I like how they have brought it up to modern day, rather than making this series like take place in the '90s. It makes sense that they would move it forward like they did. So, but yes, I love that they made it current and they had him at a child in 1998. I think that's pretty cool. Um, Actually makes Reacher about my age, which is even cooler with one watching it. It's like I can relate to it a lot more because I was a kid in the '90s as well. Graduated in 2003, so you know maybe a little bit older than Reacher is right now in this series. But it's smart. It's smart if you want to do this. Don't make it take place in the past. I don't know how they're gonna make other things relate because Reacher was always referring back to the fact that he did his military service during the kind of post Cold War era, um, or like Cold War into post Cold War era, and that's kind of why he got out of the military is because the military was like really cutting back, and they just didn't need as many people, and he got kind of pushed out. Um, so I don't know how they're going to handle that aspect of it. Also, the fact that I think his father was in Vietnam. I guess they would just move that forward probably to maybe he was in Operation Desert Storm or something like that. It might tell more. I also love too that they're showing the background story of him and Joe as kids because it brings um, some emotion to the idea that obviously we saw at the end of episode one he finds out that his brother has been killed, and in the book even you get a couple references, but you don't get as many callbacks. You don't get like flashbacks to when he was a kid, and that's something that I thought actually could have helped the first book a little bit more. Um, if you're a Jack Reacher fan, through the years you've gotten to know Joe through flashbacks and old stories that have been told, um, prequels and such. But yeah, so you get the emotion that way, like later on. Um, but just reading Killing Floor for the very first time, it's like, yeah, it's his brother. You might understand that if you have a brother, if you know what it's like to have a brother. Um, but otherwise, the connection wasn't really there. We didn't get the feeling of like how close they were as brothers, which they're actually not, Um, and I'm sure they'll talk about that a little bit more later in the series. But um, I think that, let's see, I love that they're sticking to the story, like sticking to the story. Like, other than, like I said, moving up the timeline, it's exactly like the book, man. Like, what happened in the first episode is exactly how I kind of pictured it in my head. I think that Malcolm Goodwin is fantastic as Finley. I think they couldn't have cast that any better. Like, he's pretty much how I pictured it. I pictured Finley maybe a little more gray in his hair, but I love it's almost word for word. The dialogue from the book is in the script here, and I couldn't be more happy about that. But just Richson as Reacher is perfect, man, perfect. Um, let's see what else. His encounter with KJ. Um, I was actually a little thrown off by that because it's not many people can shut Reacher up, and it kind of seemed like KJ had his number, and I don't remember it feeling like that in the book. Like KJ had something on him, so I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But Hubble, I pictured him a little more frumpy than he was in this. He was just kind of a slight, small man. I pictured kind of a chubby nerd accountant type guy, right? So I don't know. His look is a little different, but the portrayal's how it needs to be. I mean, he's acting timid and scared in the way that Hubble did in the book. Um, what else? Who else? Leslie Frey as Reacher's mother. I think she's doing fantastic. And we haven't in that episode we didn't get to see Reacher's dad at all yet. But I love that some of the story they've already shown, where like Reacher and Joe and Jack are about to get in a fist fight with these kids, and when they're new to a military base, I think they're probably in Korea. I can't remember if they said that or not, but I'm pretty sure that's true. Um, but the other kids on the military base like pick a fight with them, and this is straight out of um, one of the short stories, Second Son, I believe, which is a fantastic short story. If you haven't read the Reacher short stories, you really should. Anyway, I don't want to make this too long. I just want to say I'm absolutely loving uh, this Reacher series starting out. I couldn't have asked for anything more, and I couldn't be happier with what we ended up getting. Alan Richardson, chef's kiss, my friend. Fantastic job as Reacher. Oh, and Maxwell Jenkins as young Reacher, and this kid Gavin White as young Joe Reacher. It remains to be seen, how good all these actors are going to portray these roles. But so far, they're knocking it out of the park. Anyway, yes, episode 1 of Reacher has me very excited for the rest of the season. So if you guys enjoy this, stick around because I'm going to do all 8 episodes and talk about them individually. Maybe go even deeper on the other ones. This is just kind of like an initial reaction to the series. But yeah, if you're a Reacher fan, please stick around, subscribe to the channel. I don't only do this. I talk a lot of entertainment and pop culture and stuff like that. But I'm definitely a huge Reacher fan. I've done a ton of book reviews on the channel. I plan to talk about every book individually on the channel, and I'm definitely going to be breaking down every episode of this series, and hopefully, seasons to come of this series. So, all right, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the description, or if you're listening to this in podcast form, hey, hit me up on Instagram or Twitter at Real Brett Scott, and you can talk to me over there. But yeah, if you enjoy this sort of thing and you want to hear more of these breakdowns, then please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and or favorite or follow the podcast. And if you do that, then I'll talk to you again tomorrow.